Hi friends, it's Ashley Berges, and today I want to talk about passive aggression, but I want to talk about it when it comes in the form of an email or a text. Oftentimes we talk about passive aggression when we're talking about, dealing with people directly, but we don't really address it often when it comes to electronic communication. And I think this is something that needs to be addressed. Recently, I had somebody begin to provoke me on a text message one morning, and it started very early. And so you have an early morning, you have a passive aggression response on a text message that you're not expecting from somebody that you're friends with. And so all this kind of takes you off target. And I don't know about you, but in those situations, we usually do what? We usually not make the right choice. We usually respond back emotionally, we get aggravated, we get angry, we try to defend ourselves, defend the ego, be egotistical about it. How dare you text me that at 6:30 in the morning? Or what is wrong with you? It's like your first thought response is to come out of the corner fighting. And I've realized from personal experience, when you do that, you go down what I call the rabbit hole of craziness, and you end up playing their game, and you fall trap into their game. Because, a thing about being passive aggression is kind of a game. It's like when you were a kid, you ever make up a game? I did. I remember I made up a game one time, and it was cards that you use, and certain cards represented certain things. So like the 9 of hearts meant that you had to pick up 15 cards, and the whole name of the game was to have no cards at the end, to be the one with the least amount of cards. Those kind of games that made no sense, had more rules than anything, and you could barely remember the rules, and nobody else knew the rules but you. Now, who's going to win that game? You are, because you created it. You devised it. You came up with the whole concept. You know what all the cards stand for. And so when we allow ourselves to get in and to jump into a situation like this, we're jumping into a game that, one, we don't know the rules, okay, and we don't know how to play it. And what's going to happen? We're going to lose. And we're going to go through a lot of stress and strain in the process. So let's talk about what to do the next time somebody emails you or texts you, and it's a passive aggression conversation that's supposed to make you upset or angry or kind of attack you, what you need to do. First off, is that our first consideration is to respond back immediately, okay? Respond back, defend my honor, take back my pride, put the flag, the stake in the ground, and this is my world, get out of it. I can't believe you would even do this. I'm calling you out right now. But then you know what happens immediately as this begins to have a texting war, okay? It's an all-out, gloves are off war. And now you found yourself in a texting fight with somebody that you've probably never fight with, and you're not even aware how it really started, and now you're going down this rabbit hole, okay? So my first thought to this is the next time you get a text like this or an email, remember to read it, okay? And I know that sounds weird, but a lot of times we skim. A lot of times we only see maybe sentence 1 or the last sentence. And so really read it, and read it again. And if you need to, read it out loud, because we don't want to respond without ever always knowing exactly what it's about, okay? The next thing is that if you feel that this is passive aggressive and you do not want to deal with it at this moment, don't. Wait till the next day and then read it again, and make sure that you're not just in a stressful time in your life or overwhelmed or have too much on your plate and reading into this email or text message. Because remember, there is no inflection of voice. There is no smiling or anger or teeth showing when you're looking at an email or a text. And so you're kind of inferring it, but if you've read it several times, given it a whole day, looked at it again, and still have that same feeling in your gut, then you're probably right. This person's probably being passive aggressive. So your next thing that you want to do is you want to really think about your response, okay? In these situations, you want to craft a response a certain way. And if you don't really need to defend yourself and there's not that much at stake, my usual rule of thumb that I've realized works like a charm is to respond back with, is everything okay? I hope you're doing great. I hope you have a great morning. I'll talk to you soon, okay? And usually at that point, they're going to respond back because they've been waiting for so long to get something from you, because they want you to come out fighting. They want you to argue with them. They want you to say kind of stuff so they can bring you into that fight and they can beat the crap out of you on that email or text message. And you're going to have the whole day at work or at home. You might even be on vacation, for God's sakes, thinking about this whole situation, not enjoying your day, and totally stressing about what the next response is going to be. You know, the next thing to do is to really focus on the fact that a lot of times these things are going to pass, okay? Is this going to be a big deal in a day? Is it going to be a big deal in a month? Is it going to be a big deal in a year? Probably not, okay? So with that in mind, usually I like to let this stuff kind of go by the wayside, because it's kind of like having a match, right? When you light a match, you light that fire. When you add a match to the match that's already lit, right, well, it also lights up as well. But if you don't do that and you don't pull yourself into it, you're not adding any fuel to the fire. You're actually putting the fire out, because they can't just argue and fight and be passive aggressive on their own. They have to have two to tango. And if you're not tangoing, well, you're diffusing the fire already. Another thing to think about is just realize that all of these things are going to change. And it also kind of shows you a little bit about this person, though, too. So don't forget everything. You can always forgive. But don't forget, because oftentimes if you have a friend in your life who is constantly badgering you, constantly being passive-aggressive to you in emails and texts and maybe even phone calls, this might be a sign that this might not be somebody that you necessarily need to spend a lot of time with. Okay, because think about it, life's too short to be battling with people, to be dealing with negativity, to having somebody kind of provoking you, when you need to be happy and thinking about things that actually matter in your life, about finding that true purpose, about really connecting with the things you need to do, about really being responsible with your responsibilities and taking on that type of stuff and thinking on a deeper level than dealing with this kind of drama. And last but not least, and this is important, when you're reading that types of stuff and you realize it and you know that they're trying to provoke you, the best thing to do is just to let it go. And I found that out clearly recently, because I've realized that they might change their mind. It might be the heat of the moment. And as long as I don't engage, one, I don't feel bad about something that I might say or print or text, okay? So I don't have to take anything back. You know, the next thing is that when I don't get all wrapped up and emotional and angst with another person, then it doesn't really stress me out. I'm able to kind of step back and look at that text or look at that email. I might not understand why they did it, and I might not love the fact that they did, but I can also love myself enough to not engage and to know that they might come around and they might not. But I have the choice in my life to either engage or not engage. I have the choice in my life to spend time thinking about this or not, and I have the time to either respond back or I choose not to. Because just because they text you doesn't mean that you have to respond. In this technological world, we feel like we have to respond to people immediately. That right when they text or right when they email, we need to get right back to them. Lickety split, or something bad's going to happen. The universe is going to blow up or something. But we don't have to worry about that. We need to let certain things go. Let certain people just chill out. Let the fire die down, and then see how they're doing in the next few days. This can really come in handy, especially when you're not expecting it and somebody comes from outfield being passive-aggressive, and somebody that you're probably really good friends with. I hope you like this video. I hope this helps you when it comes to emailing and texting, dealing with passive-aggressive comments and texting emails, because a lot of times we don't really feel like this is happening because it's not being spoken to us and we're not in person and we're not expecting it and we don't necessarily know what to do. Write some comments down below. Let me know some ideas and some subject matters that you would like me to cover on this channel, as well as check out some of the latest videos. I mean, we're talking about narcissism, we're talking about being happy, the 12 tips to being happy in your life, dealing with purpose, finding acceptance in your life, and just genuinely being you, your authentic self. Also, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and take time to like this video. It means a lot to me. I appreciate you, and I look forward to hearing from you, and I will definitely respond back to your awesome comments. Live your true life today.